Hi, my name is ZaKaiRan and welcome to my podcast, How to Be an Unconditional Lover. The 30-day game plan to achieving a life of complete happiness and fulfillment, where I do just that. And I show you the step-by-step game plan on how to achieve a state of unconditional love, a state of enlightenment and immense happiness and fulfillment. And I show you how to achieve what most people aspire to achieve in relationships, but just don't know how to get there. So if you'd like to learn how to achieve a life of immense joy, prosperity, clarity, confidence, happiness, love, and fulfillment, then enjoy my podcast, How to Be an Unconditional Lover. Hi, my name is ZaKaiRan and I help success-minded people create the happy, abundant lifestyle you love. In my videos and podcasts, I reveal the master keys of success, business, money, leadership, relationship, and the law of attraction so that you can create and attract the happiness and the health and the wealth and the abundance and anything you desire into your life. All right. How to be an unconditional lover, the 30-day game plan to achieving a life of complete happiness and fulfillment. The ultimate goal of a spiritual master is to achieve a state of enlightenment, which is a state of unconditional love, because unconditional love is the natural state of Source, God, Goddess, all that is, and this state of unconditional love is also the ultimate state of joy and freedom, and it is the ultimate state of happiness in relationship. And when it is achieved in relationship, it provides the ultimate basis for joy, freedom, health, and abundance in your life. Unconditional love is the natural state of Source, and we are all Source beings. So, it is also our natural state, being unconditional lovers, because we are all Source expressing itself in human bodies. So, what is unconditional love? And if it is our natural state of being, why don't we practice it and live it? Why are we conditional lovers instead of unconditional lovers? We are conditional lovers because we have been trained by society to please everyone around us. And if we do so, then we can maybe, if we're lucky, be happy. In other words, everyone has been trained away from their own guidance system and trained away from our natural selfish desires to please ourselves in favor of pleasing everyone else. We were born unconditional lovers with the natural tendency to focus on our own happiness, but we were trained to focus on everyone else's happiness instead. In other words, we were taught, if you do this and do that and jump through enough hoops, then I will love you. I will give you affection, I will give you attention, I'll give you sex, etc. But if you don't act in nice certain ways that I approve of, well, then you are in the shit. I'm going to withdraw love from you. I'm going to reject you. I'm going to break up with you, etc. So how can I become an unconditional lover and be and live this natural state of beingness that is my natural state of being? Well, the answer is very simple. Love to love, not love to be loved. Most people look to lovers and friends and parents and family and siblings, etc., to love them so that they can feel loved, so that they can feel good about themselves because someone likes them and loves them. But as soon as someone, like you, in this case, you might break a rule, as soon as someone breaks a rule, then love is quickly denied. So out the door goes the source of your love. So as soon as you break a rule, then even if it's an unwritten rule, well, the love gets withdrawn from you. The key here is control. You have zero control over whether or not someone else likes you or loves you, and zero control over how much anyone likes or loves you. The only control you have is over your own love and how much you love other people and other things. I'm going to repeat that again. You don't have any control over whether people like you or love you, but you do have control over whether you like and love anybody or anything. Because we have been trained to please other people at the expense of our own happiness. And we have been taught that unless we please other people, then we are unworthy bastards. Most people use love as a way to prove their worthiness. If people love them, then they feel worthy. If people don't, then they feel unworthy. And people unconsciously use receiving love from others as a way to feel their connection to Source, their connection to God. But again, as soon as that love is taken away, then people are typically devastated because they now feel disconnected from Source. The classic breakup. Oh, I feel devastated. Oh. It's not because somebody left them. It's not because the girlfriend or boyfriend left them. It's because now they feel disconnected from Source. So the key is to use giving love as a way to connect you with Source, because Source always loves everyone and everything completely unconditionally. So anytime you are loving anything or anyone, you are in alignment with Source. And when you use another person and your love towards them as your excuse to connect to Source, you will have a great relationship with that person. But if you use receiving love from anyone else as a way to connect to Source, you are in trouble, my friend, because you don't have any control over anyone else. So, of course, as soon as they leave you, as soon as they break up with you, as soon as they screw somebody else, well, then you're going to feel disconnected from Source. You want to always be in control of your own vibration, and you can't be in control of your own vibration when you rely upon others to love you, and therefore you're giving them complete power over your happiness and control over your vibratory state. So being an unconditional lover means just that. You love regardless of conditions. You love whether people love you or give you sex or give you attention or anything. In other words, you don't base your love upon what other people think, say, or do or don't do. You use what other people think, say, or do as the reason for your happiness or sadness. That's where you get in trouble. Typically, most people are conditional lovers. They like and love you and everyone else on earth as long as you are doing what makes them happy and pleases them. In other words, they put you and everyone else in charge of their happiness. So, if people do what makes them happy, they like and love those people. Those that say and do unpleasing things, well, those people are judged and condemned and rejected and unloved, and etc. And the same goes for people's intimate relationships and marriages. Married or not, the underlying agreement is you promise to think and act in certain pleasing ways to make me happy. And I will do the same for you. But this is an agreement or vow of slavery and imprisonment, not security or freedom, which are the two things that typically people are looking for in relationship. Usually for women it's security. Usually for men it's freedom. So it is no wonder that most people struggle so much with unhappy relationships, because no one can realistically commit to that agreement, because it is an impossible agreement to achieve. You cannot please other people. You do not have control over other people's happiness. It is absolutely impossible to make another person happy. Only they can make themselves happy by how and where they focus their attention. Every single person is in charge of how they react to your actions, but you have no control over that reaction. That should be obvious by now from the times you have devised the perfect action or the perfect words or the perfect gift And yet, that person that you offered that gift or those perfect words to reacted in completely unexpected and even aggressive and negative ways. And your mind just gets blown away. It is each individual's responsibility to think, say, and do what makes them happy, not you. You are not responsible for anyone else's happiness, only your own. And when two or more people can come together with that truly unconditionally loving perspective, you two will have absolutely amazing relationships with each other and even with other people. You will experience something very close to Source. And what Source experiences, where you have the freedom to be who and what you truly are without demands and expectations being projected upon you from other people. That is when you have the freedom that is your natural state of being. Now, the idea of marriage vows was to somehow vow yourself into an unconditionally loving state. Nice idea, didn't quite work out. And all you had to do was spend a shitload of money and dress real nice and state your vow, your declaration to all of the guests for all to see, and magic would happen, and you would both become instant unconditional lovers. Unfortunately, just saying some magic words does not quite cast the spell, because words don't teach, only life experience teaches. And those ignorant souls with stars in their eyes don't have a clue what unconditional love is, because they have never ever been shown it by anybody or taught it or practiced it. Nobody gets trained in school how to be an unconditional lover. They believe that unconditional love means you unconditionally must do what pleases me, or I must do what pleases you no matter what, even if it makes you happy or me happy or not. But that is not unconditional love. And if you don't make me happy 24/7, I am going to reject you. That is the general, the unwritten rule. And then so if you don't do what I like, I'm going to judge you, I'm going to reject you, I'm going to condemn you and withdraw love from you and withdraw sex from you and punish you back into submission so that you'll submit and do things that I want that make me happy. In other words, you must love me unconditionally regardless of your desires and your conditions based solely upon my conditions, which is some radically bastardized version of what real unconditional love is. Now, let's say you now know what real unconditional love is. You get it. You finally got what I just taught you. You understand that it's not about demanding or expecting anyone to love you, but it is solely about you loving yourself and then loving other people regardless of conditions, whether they love you or not, or whatever, regardless of what they do or don't do. In other words, your goal is to just love yourself and other people regardless of how you think and what they think, and regardless of what you do and what they do and what they say. So with that in mind, it is unreasonable and uncontrollable and impossible to expect anyone to like or love you, no matter how wonderful you are or how wonderful and loving you act. People don't know how to love themselves, let alone how to love you, and they can't love you unless they love themselves. So expecting others to love you unconditionally is conditional love. Do you get that? That's a tricky one. So expecting others to love you unconditionally, and they don't know how to do it, is conditional love. Most people don't know how to be an unconditional lover. To love you no matter what. They don't know how to do it. They don't have the necessary awareness, spiritual mastery, relationship mastery, and mastery of self to do so. And you have no control over what other people think, say, or do, and nor do you want any control over what other people think, say, and do, because you don't want to be their personal warden, their prison warden and slave master, holding them in prison as your love slave. Unless, of course, you're into that kind of thing and it's mutual, well then, have fun. The only creative control you have is loving, not being loved. But loving unconditionally does not mean that you must somehow love the unlovable aspects of people or somehow love their deplorable actions. It does not mean that you have to somehow manipulate yourself into loving complete scumbags, because it is not possible to love unlovable things. When you can love scumbags unconditionally because all you see is their divinity, then you have truly become enlightened. But until then, it is a more prudent and much easier course of action to just focus your attention on more easily controllable directions. Instead of trying to love unlovable people, instead of trying to love a terrorist as an example, just love very easily lovable people and creatures and things and situations so that you build up unconditional love momentum. You don't have to jump from woe to go and become an instantly enlightened master who is able to love Osama bin Laden unconditionally. That's not going to happen. You're not there yet. But you can focus on easily lovable things, and you can focus on the likable and lovable aspects of people and creatures and things quite easily. Now, that seems like you're being conditional, but remember, this is a journey, and to get to the top of the mountain, you've got to do it one step at a time. So step one, create unconditional love momentum by focusing on the aspects of life and nature and creatures and convenient, helpful, easy things in your life, and the very easily appreciable qualities of people to build up your love momentum. Your focus is loving and appreciation upon others, not upon receiving anything from anyone. This is one-way love. Just loving, pleasing conditions of things and situations, animals, nature, and people, and not focusing on unpleasing conditions. Because remember, loving unconditionally is about your love of other people and other things. It has nothing to do with what other people are doing or not doing and whether or not they're loving you. So unconditional love is initially, as you're mastering, it's all about focus. Just focus on anything that is easy to like, love, and appreciate. And pay no attention at all to anything or anyone or those aspects and personality traits that are difficult to like, love, and appreciate. We're building up your unconditional muscles, your unconditional love muscles here, to eventually get you to a place where you only see the positive aspects of everyone. That's all you pay attention to. And when you've built up enough positive momentum and raised your vibration enough by focusing in positive directions, well, now, using our classic terrorist example, now you can see beyond the violence or revenge, and you can see that this person just feels powerless and helpless and is using revenge to feel powerful. And then you see the essence of that person's divine beingness that is all-powerful and is actually unconditionally loving, and you have compassion because this soul has just gotten lost and was trained to believe a lie by other people who were also trained to be alive, by people that were also trained to be alive. And instead of condemning him or her, which feels bad, because Source is not judging that person, it feels better to see him or her being empowered and happy and prosperous and rediscovering their divinity and becoming good and loving and caring and compassionate. That feels good. So using less extreme examples of other people in your life with less extreme undesirable qualities, first, focus only on their positive qualities. Pay no attention to their negative ones. Don't pay any attention to their negative habits. Sit down with a pad of paper and write down all the positive aspects of these people in your life. So let's say you and your partner are fighting a lot. Well, the reason you're fighting all the time is because you're both focusing on the negative aspects of each other, not the positive aspects. You're building up momentum about their positive crap. And the law of attraction will always give you more of whatever you are focused upon. If you focus on people's negative aspects, then it is that is all they're going to show you. That's all the law of attraction is going to put in your face. But if you focus only on the positive aspects of people, then that is all they're going to show you. Again, it's all about momentum. Whatever you're putting your attention into builds momentum, then that's all you see, and that's all the law of attraction gives you. So, do a rampage of appreciation about all the positive aspects of your lover, and your children, and your parents, and siblings, and coworkers, and bosses, and etc. that you're having dramas with. And then watch your life miraculously improve. Especially after you have done this for like 30 days. I guarantee that if you start your day, every day, rampaging about the positive aspects of people, your relationships will become absolutely amazing. Even relationships you thought were absolutely hopeless improve dramatically. Or they just naturally drift away easily without any dramas. Jobs that suck become more enjoyable. Or better situations with better work environments and more fun people and better pay replace them just naturally and easily. So whatever situation in life that you desire improvement upon, pivot away from that negative of that and focus entirely upon the positive aspects of that. Write about, think about, and talk about, and blog about, and shoot videos about only the positive aspects of people in life, and you will attract more positive aspects from people and more positive situations in your life, and then your life will just be an absolute joyful, magical, fun day every day. You want to guide your life by focusing as Source does. Where does Source focus? Always 100% positively. The improvement that you desire, Source is already focused there. Because Source is always focused upon the goodness and godness of everyone and everything and every situation. Source is always focused upon creating new stuff, not trying to get rid of old stuff and fix old things that are allegedly broken. Source is 100% 24/7 focused upon improvement. That is the essence of God, Goddess, all that is Source. Source never ever focuses upon the past, never ever, and Source never focuses upon the negative aspects of anyone or anything, ever. Nothing and no one is ever judged as being bad or even good. That would make God a conditional lover. The belief that God is a conditional lover and requires you to act in ways that please this supposed judgmental overlord is just plain ignorant, childish, and ludicrous bullshit. I understand where humans came up with this idea of a limited, petty, insecure, judgmental puppet master of a god with a huge list of rules and regulations that you've got to, make sure you tick all the boxes so you can get into heaven. But because most people feel limited and insecure about themselves, and they were taught by misguided people that they were sinful and faulty rather than divine and perfect. They were taught that they were faulty and sinful rather than being taught that they were actually God. But nevertheless, that is classical Neanderthal thinking. And if God did in fact focus in such limited, conditional ways upon our supposed negative, bad, sinful thoughts, words, and deeds, then there would be no creation and no improvement and no evolution and no growth, and we would not understand or feel what is good and what is bad. But of course we do, regardless of those alleged commandments, because we all have been given a foolproof self-guidance system that tells us what is good and what is essentially bad for us. And this self-guidance system works infallibly because Source only and always focuses upon goodness and improvement. And when we focus upon goodness, we feel good. And when we focus on badness, we feel bad because Source is not focusing in that direction. So being enlightened, being an unconditional lover is not difficult. It's not complicated. It's freaking easy. Because when we are in alignment with Source, we feel good. But when we are out of alignment with Source, we feel bad. So, Source was actually a judgmental prick, as people believe him to be, and if God really did focus upon our supposed sins and faults and the negative aspects of our personalities and judge us for them, and if God did think in similar judgmental ways as you do, by focusing on those negative things and people, then it would feel good to think in negative judgmental ways. It would feel good, not bad, to be evil, so to speak. This is the classic movie premise where if your God is the devil, then doing bad feels good. But doing bad never ever feels good to anyone. They may have gotten used to doing bad because their peer support, the peer support that they received was that it is good to be bad, and they get affection and attention and approval from their peers and friends for being bad. And their role models encouraged their badness rather than goodness, they've just gotten used to doing bad things and thinking bad thoughts, and doing bad feels comfortable in some sort of sick way, but it will never ever feel natural, and it will never ever really feel good to anyone, because it only feels good to be in alignment with Source. It only feels good to be creating what feels good. It only feels good to create improvement. It only feels good to focus on what you want and what you like. It only feels good when you are focused upon creating what you want, not trying to destroy what you don't like and don't want. It always is about momentum. If you build up enough negative momentum, then being a scumbag feels comfortable. The law of attraction is all about momentum. Whatever you're focused upon, you build momentum about that and create more of that. If it feels comfortable and safe somehow, when people act in negative ways just because they have so much momentum in that direction. This is why a lot of convicts keep getting arrested again and again and sent back to prison, because being a criminal and being a convict and being in prison becomes comfortable. And being good is outside of their emotional comfort zone. And of course, their peer group, who all suffer from feeling powerless and helpless, encourage their criminal behavior and their violence and revenge, etc., to feel more powerful, because that's what powerless people do. They act in powerful ways so they can feel powerful. So that is the extreme negative, which gives you clear direction of where to now focus your positive attention to build up your unconditional love muscles. So your mission, should you choose to accept it, may seem like an impossible mission. But I can assure you that it is not. It is actually an easy mission if you allow yourself to surrender to your natural state of unconditional love. Don't try to get rid of everything that's supposedly trying to block you from being an unconditional lover. Just allow yourself to be how you naturally are. Humans have made unconditional love, aka Source, aka God, aka Enlightenment, whatever you want to call it, into some magical, mystical, unreachable state of godliness and enlightenment that we must, prove our worth to achieve. But you will never achieve a state of unconditional love by trying to prove your worth or anything to anyone. Because trying to prove your worth is trying to prove conditions. And conditions have nothing to do with unconditional love. Unconditional love is not something that you do. It just is. It is who you truly are. It's what you truly are. And when you can surrender and give in to your natural state of unconditional love, of Source, of being God, basically, and when you give up the fight and stop trying to prove anything to anyone, and when you allow yourself to feel your awesome, unlimited, infinitely powerful, creative, divine essence, of unconditional love, then you have achieved the coveted state of enlightenment that everyone aspires to. That godly state that everybody wants to experience. But this state of enlightenment is not like a college degree, and once you achieve it, it's yours forever. Because sometimes you'll be vibrating unconditionally, you'll be an unconditional lover, you'll be thinking in unconditional ways. Sometimes you will get off track and be thinking and speaking very conditionally. You're reacting to conditions around you and going, that pisses me off, I hate that, that sucks. But that is no big deal because you know how to get back into alignment with Source and with unconditional love and back into alignment with your focus and your attention upon what you like. And you also know that the optimal way to be is to embrace contrast. And when you fall into conditional traps and you're reveling in the contrast, as it were, and bitching and moaning and complaining, no big deal, because you know how valuable contrast is. Because contrast shows you where to focus your attention, because you're never more clear about what you do want when you are clear about what you don't want. So contrast is your vibrational indicator, and how you're feeling is your vibrational indicator, showing you, if you're feeling bad, that you are focused in directions that are contrary to Source, to God, contrary to who and what you truly are, and contrary to what you want, which is to feel good and get what you want. But hey, no big deal. Just get back on track. Just say to yourself, hey, right now, when you're feeling good right now, I'm an unconditional lover. I'm focused upon who and what feels good to focus upon. I'm feeling good. Rocking, baby. I'm excited. I'm inspired. Oops, got off track. Oh, feeling bad. Must have been thinking bad thoughts. Must have been thinking about what I don't want. Must have been thinking about things that I don't like and love and appreciate. I've been focused upon things that don't feel good. No worries. Just get back on track. What do I want? Start focusing on what I do want. Focus on what's easy to like, love, and appreciate. No big deal. You always want to be asking yourself, what does my guidance gauge say? How am I feeling? Am I feeling good or am I feeling bad? I'm feeling on top of the world. Yay! Okay, well then that means my unconditional love gauge reads 10. I'm totally on track. Oops! I feel like crap. My unconditional love gauge reads 0. Oh, no worries. Well, I'll just get it back up to 10. So just keep focus again on what I want. And I'm going to have fun getting it back up to 10. Now, that's a key ingredient, is regardless of how low you dip, have fun getting back up to a 10. Oops, gave myself a hard time for letting my gauge get down to 5. And oops, and then because I started giving myself a hard time, it dropped down to 2. Oh, shit, oh, well. No big deal. Hey, I've got clarity now about what I don't want. Great. Well, now that gives me clarity about what I do want. So I'm going to congratulate myself for being aware of where my gauge was going. I'm going dipping down to 2. And then I'm going to congratulate myself for popping it back up because I now am focusing on what I want. And then, of course, I'm going to use meditation and affirmations and writing in my book of positive aspects and doing rampages of appreciation to get my gauge back up to 10. Yay! My unconditional love gauge is back up to 10. I'm a champion. I'm a freaking legend. I'm a superstar. I'm an enlightened master. Yeah, baby. So there you go. I just gave you the roadmap to unconditional love. I just gave you the game plan to achieve absolute enlightenment. I just gave you the step-by-step plan to help you be happy, healthy, wealthy, and literally make all your dreams come true. I just gave you the roadmap to connect to your source, who and what you truly are, which is unconditional love. I just gave you the roadmap to having amazing, ecstatic, wonderful, loving, unconditional relationships. And I just gave you the roadmap to optimal, fun, loving, joyful, luscious, ecstatic, lovely, wonderful lovers and friends and even your family. So now take that amazing guidance, take those tips, practice them, master them, become an unconditional lover, become who and what you truly are. Get busy, be an unconditional lover, be the unconditional lover you truly are, and I look forward to hearing from you in 30 days from now to tell me how amazing your life is now, how amazing your relationships are, how happy you are, how ecstatic you are, how much abundance is flowing in because you watched this video or you listened to my podcast or you read this article or read it in a chapter in one of my books, and your life is now freaking amazing. So, if you got something from us, please share with your friends. Bless them with these amazing teachings. Come visit me at ZaKaiRan.com for more self-empowering goodies to help you become a conscious, deliberate creator of reality. And I wish you infinite blessings and adventures on your magnificent journey of unconditional love. Thanks again for watching this video or listening to this podcast, and I wish you immense abundance on your magnificent journey of divine creation. And remember always to make life a holiday. Woohoo!